Welcome to the Business Blast Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with the support you need to finish your book. Best part is, after you finish your book, they take care of the entire publishing and marketing process 100% for you. So, if you want to become a successful author, make sure to check out authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today I have Dr. Gary Arnold with us. He's a top international public speaker, digital marketing executive, strategist, business consultant, and as an expert in business PR, he has circumnavigated the globe 22 times, giving over 1,600 keynotes and consulting sessions. So welcome to the show, man.
Great to be here, Tyler.
Great to have you on. So let's dive right into the first one. The first one I got for you, Gary, is what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
Wow. I'll make it really quick. It's a longer story, but I'm going to make it really quick. So I was adopted at the age of 2, and I just picked the parent lottery, and it was just wonderful, best friends. But at 33, by a confluence of circumstances, I had a company that I was doing a national rollout for that worked with adopted people. And I just happened to mention that I was adopted. And they said, well, do you know who your adopted parents are? I said, no. Do you want to? I said, it never really crossed my mind. I love the parents that picked me up because they always called me a chosen child. Anyhow, I said, but I wouldn't mind it. So 2 weeks later, they literally dropped a dossier on my desk of my birth parents. And they were an hour away, and I read over the family and the history and all of this stuff. So I knocked on the door because I just knocked and my dog just went crazy. So,
it's okay. That makes it fun.
Mag, it's okay. It's okay.
I love it. No, it'll make the podcast more authentic. It's good.
Yeah, it does. So I went over. I introduced myself. We had a long conversation. And I introduced myself as someone that was doing study of the Partlow lineage, which was my birth name. And we sat down at a bar. She talked to me, was real impressed. And I pushed over my birth certificate and I said, do you know this name? And she looked at me and then she looked back up and she said, are you Earl Partlow, which was my birth name? And I said, yes, I am. And she got up off this bar stool in her kitchen and she picked me up out of this chair. And she literally starts swinging me around. And she says, I can't believe you're Earl Partlow. I can't believe you're Earl Partlow. And we reunited. Come to find out, I had a brother 15 years my senior who didn't know he had a brother. And it was just an incredible event that they've both since passed away, but we were literally best friends from that time forward. So I'm going to say, to people, just take a risk. Life is has too many levels, too many dimensions, too many opportunities. Just not to take a risk and do things that are out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Dude, that is an incredible
It was wonderful.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the next one I have for you, man, is what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry? So I do business consulting and business strategy, and I do it for doctors, dentists, chiropractors, estheticians, that type of thing. And what I find is these are brilliant people. I mean, they're really brilliant people, but they're most of them brilliant in the segment of their expertise. And so they might be great doctors and not great business people. And I think most people should recognize that they try to do all things, and they shouldn't. So the most successful doctors, dentists, chiropractors that I work with are the ones that delegate what they don't do well. And they find people that are experts like they are to help them out. And I see too many people, way too many people, try to do everything to all people all the time. And it screws them up. Literally leads them into the land of mediocrity.
Mm-hmm. And it could tie in, but then what's your best piece of overall business advice? So not necessarily industry specific.
I think you have to have a focus. I mean, if you aren't following something that really gets your juices flowing in the morning, and follow that passion, get another job, and you've got to have something that excites you. Life's just too friggin' short not to get up and do what you love.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
I was a risk taker when I was young. I was maybe a little bit too extreme of a risk taker, and I think when I was young, I'd say put a little bit more of the reins on so that I could use other people's expertise. And then the older I got, I'd say take the reins off and risk more.
And then, so kind of going a little bit down a different path. In your opinion, what is the key to happiness?
Oh, I married the love of my life, and we've been together almost 20 years, and we just have a great relationship. And one of the reasons that we do is we both love ourselves, and doing that, we can get together, and then we both love ourselves as a couple. But we love ourselves individually first. I'm happy with who I am, and my wife's happy with who she is. So go out and try to be happy with who you are. And a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are, have a very thin veneer of happiness covering a big blob of miserableness.
And then what is the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
Oh, I'm a Tony Robbins fan, so I got to give a shout out to Tony, and I love the 4-Hour Work Week and the Tribes book. So Tim Ferriss is like a guru for me, and I read a book every single week, or listen to a book every single week. I'm an Audible fanatic.
Yes.
Yeah. So
me
that's
too.
And I would say, both of those guys are entrepreneurs that have shared tremendously, and go out and listen to those guys, because they're just they will help your expertise and broaden your expertise.
And what is your favorite quote and why?
Oh, my favorite quote. Hang on one second. Life's too short. Oh, geez.
It doesn't have to be exact, too. It could be like a mantra. Up to you.
Life's too short not to go out and do your best. But, I feel a little bit ashamed because my mother always had a quote. It's literally on the tip of my tongue.
It's okay.
Yeah.
No worries. So, listen, thank you so much for coming on. The last one that I have for you before we let you go is where can our audience best find you online?
Well, they can see me at Windhorse, that's WINDHORSE.org. And I've got an Instagram account that's Instagram.com/Dr. Gary Arnold, and a Facebook page that's Facebook.com/Dr. Gary Arnold. So they can see us there. And I just wanted to give you a shout out too and say congrats on the butterfly book. You got to be proud of that one, Tyler.
Thank you so much. Yes, that was a client of mine. I guess it was about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Yeah, we did very well with that book.
Being a publisher is you help a ton of people, because people that can tell their story. Book writing has been a phenomenal thing for me. I've written 18 books. It's
18. I didn't know that.
So it's a phenomenal thing for me. If we had you on video here, but I've had quotes from the likes of I had a cover quote from Neil Donald Walsh that wrote Conversations with God, but I've had Dan Kennedy gave me an accolade.
Wow.
And he's, no BS marketing. You can't you can't do better than that. And Joe Lake, who was a EVP for Children's Miracle Network, Bart Starr, Rocky Blair, 4-time NFL Super Bowl champion, endorsed a couple of my books. Ken Blanchard did, and Michael LaBeouf did. Art Linkletter, even when I was writing a long time ago, wrote me inside, preface. So I commend you on doing what you do, and I'll really encourage people to use your services because it could change their professional life big time.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for that. And that is awesome, man. 18 books. That is incredible.
If people realize they've got a story, does it sit inside of them instead of outside of them? They just, tell it. It could help a whole bunch of other people.
Mm-hmm. Well, dude, thank you so much for that. And we will definitely be talking to you again soon. Thanks again for coming on.
Have a great day. And thanks so much for having me on. It's been fun.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.